What it do, what it don't, what it will, what it won't. It is another Friday. That means it's another opportunity to get together and record the experience that is known as the Ball Hog Sports Talk, where sports, business, and entertainment collide. This experience features a few businessmen that get together and discuss sports in an entertaining fashion. We do it one way and one way only. That's rough, rugged, and raw. The crew is in the building. The summer is heating up. The activity in sports and business and entertainment are taking off, and who better than us to capture it all? It is the Order of Executives episode. Fasten your seatbelt, pull up a nice, comfortable chair, pour you a nice, tall mug of coffee, spike it with whatever you will as we approach the noon hour on the East Coast. But with no further ado, it is what it is. So let's go.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, and stay woke. Cause this is the Ball Hog Sports Talk with your boy, B Brown, ESQ, aka the Ball Hog, aka the Mouth of the South. This is the place where sports, business, and entertainment collide. And we're gonna give it to you rough, rugged, and raw. So come get you a spoonful, like some grits with butter and salt. You know how we do it in the South, y'all. Make sure you do not get caught in your feelings. Strap on your seatbelt and enjoy the ride. Come on, let's go.
Once again, it's on. Once again, it is on. I get the unbelievable pleasure of being in front of this microphone with the man, the myth, the legend, the man from the Middle Coast. Thou shall be intergalactically known and respected as. When you say it with some reverence and your bass and your voice. He is the Big Flow Show. What's up, my brother?
Nothing, bro. Nothing. What's good with you, man?
Man, I'm good, man. I got on my look, man. It's the summer, so I got my WNBA jersey. If you don't have a WNBA jersey, go cop it now. I am a brand ambassador officially. I got my jersey on. I'm showing my guns.
What team
guns
is that?
out.
What team
Let's
is that?
go.
What team is it? What team is that?
This is just a general WNBA one. Don't try to.
I mean, no, because I see you try to act like you're showing it, but the camera just messing up. It
It's
just
just
says
a
W.
WNBA logo with the big
Okay.
Nike sign. Let's go, W.
10 points if you know who that logo is.
I would imagine it's Cheryl Swoops. I don't know who it is.
Lisa Leslie.
Is it Lisa Leslie? Yeah.
And I only found out because during the All-Star game, they introduced her as the logo. I was like,
As the logo.
I'm like, that dude kind of look like her. You know?
Now that you said it, that does look like Lisa Leslie. But now I know going forward. What's up, man?
Yeah.
We have been away. We were away last week. Occasionally, we take summer Fridays because the two of us also need peace of mind and balance. But we are back in the building, and there's been no shortage of sports, business, and entertainment. While we took that summer Friday, man, it's been popping, as the young folks say. Actually, the young folk don't say that no more.
It's lit. It's lit.
Yeah, but I still say it. So we got to get it popping too, man. Anything you want to get off your chest before we start? Because we're going to hop into some good stuff today on this Order of Executives episode of the Ball Hog Sports Talk. Anything you want to get off your chest, man? Any questions, comments, concerns?
Question with you. I mean, last week I know you were in a different state following your son, the Deuce, as you like to affectionately call him. Some people like to call him Bray. Some people like to call him. I don't know. I mean, whatever. What's going on with you guys?
Saying all of those things, although we've been embroiled in a little bit of back and forth, that happens when you have a teenager.
Growth.
Man, it happens. It happens when you have a teenager that I'm finding out. This is what you did not warn me. You didn't warn me about these teenage years, Big Flo. You didn't warn me. These some interesting years with this doggone teenage boy, but
I didn't want to ruin it. You know what I mean? The movie good. The movie was about to get good. I didn't want to ruin it by giving you, you know what I'm talking about? I want you to come to me.
I tell him now.
I was waiting for you to get to that episode, my friend. And now
I
you
got to the episode. He knows more than me
sure.
and anybody and everybody else, including the books that he reads. But I digress.
No, he doesn't know more than you. You are an idiot.
Yeah.
You're an idiot. An idiot.
Like, yeah, they must.
How dare you?
That was charity that they gave you those degrees. He thinks I am so stupid. But I digress. Last week, despite the fact that he has no confidence whatsoever in my intellect, I continue to support him. And last week, I was at the Peach Jam, which is Nike's crescendo. It's the seminal event for Nike where all of their teams come together that qualify and go to Augusta, Georgia, of all places. I think I sent you the information that talks about how much the economy in Augusta, Georgia improves over that. Let's call it a 2-week span, because they got the 4th session for the high school. So you got to go down there and win enough to qualify for Peach Jam, which is the tournament towards the back end. And then the junior EYBL, which is 7th and 8th grade, comes down there. But what I got to see is Nike's complete monopoly. They have this basketball thing in a chokehold. They got it. So in this, look, it's a perfect time to start, because it's order of executives. So if we have to order this thing, because each one of the shoe companies has their own circuit, right? And so what the circuit is, they have the teams that come and they'll wear the logo, in this case Nike, but New Balance has one, Puma has one. Puma's championship is going on right now in Orlando. Adidas has one. Adidas goes, I think they were in, where was Adidas? I don't remember where Adidas was. Under Armour has one. They were in Chicago. But Nike, look, Nike's in a league of their own. They are 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, all the way down to Z, and then we'll decide who's second by flipping a coin. But Nike has a monopoly over this basketball thing, this EYBL. They have their own scholastic league now with the top schools in the entire country playing an EYBL league of its own. So Nike, whatever y'all doing, like whatever y'all doing, I think what they do is they allow everybody else to spend all their money. If you remember, Under Armour spent a ton of money on the likes of a Steph Curry. You'll recall New Balance spent a ton of money to get Kawhi Leonard from Jumpman, Team Jordan, over to New Balance. And they're spending a ton of money right now on Cooper Flag. I think what Nike does is sits back.
Cooper Flag with New Balance?
He won New Balance. But
about
Nike
right
lets
for
you
him,
spend
though.
all your money.
That's about right for him.
And
He
then
has kind of a New Balance game. You know what I mean?
But I was there, man. I got to see Peach Jam for the first time. Shout out to our team that did well. My son did well. But also to me, I saw Akeem Olajuwon won at Peach Jam. And I don't fan out a lot of people. Like JJ Crawford's there. And there's a lot of people there. I would spend the whole show talking about all the NBA past and present and future guys that were at Peach Jam. But the one that stole the show for me was Akeem the Dream Olajuwon, man. I'm like,
did you post him up? Did you post him up?
I
would be so tempted to post him up.
He was taking pictures with kids, and I really had to pinch myself. Like, man, don't you take your grown 48-year-old ass over there and push them kids.
I would take a picture with the Dream.
I wanted it, but he had a line of kids.
No, I wouldn't do that, but I would take a picture. I would never, ever ask someone for an autograph. But the only time I've ever done is once I was in a restaurant with some guys from work, and Dominique Wilkins was in there. Mm-hmm. And Dominique, like, that was Jordan and Dominique when I was a kid. Like, those were the two.
Right on.
I got up and I walked over to him.
Someone say he won that dunk contest.
I was there. I was there.
You were there?
I was there. My seat was so high up, though, I had to look at the Jumbotron.
You were there, though, man. That's a story you hold forever. You were there.
I was there. I got up, man, as if I had prepared a speech. Like, I knew if I was going to meet him one day. But I was like, listen, I hate to even do this to you. And there's not many people I'll do it. But growing up, it was you and Jordan. Those are who people I watch.
Right.
You know, I seen you in the dunk contest. You know, my late cousin liked you so much. He put his middle name as Neek on his driver's license. He got them to put that, convinced them that it was his middle name.
Extra ethnic. I like him already.
Extra Neek, right? But like that's whatever. And I was like, so I don't want to bother you, man. I just want to just tell you your inspiration. You know what I'm saying? And it was a joy. You know, I'm grown as hell now. He looking at me like I'm not that much older than you. You know what I mean? But like when I'm a kid, you know, I was like, whatever. So if I could just take a quick picture, man, and I'm gonna let you on your way, man. He's like, man, okay, let's do it. And so we took a quick picture. And then people started asking a picture. He's like, nah, and he walked out.
So he just got you and got out of there.
That's my cousin. He was friends with my cousin. So he was the one. He can attest the fact that his middle name, he put Neek on his driver's license in the middle name, is the middle name. So Mark Osher, good friend of my cousin that passed away as well too. But that's about it. But I would try to take a picture with Dream if I could catch him and do that. The one thing, if you guys are out there listening, and I know a lot of people, we talk about the youth sport experience. I know we don't want to spend a lot of time on today, but if you do ever have the opportunity to do it, it's something special. First of all, you're in the room at Peach Jam. You are in the room with 30% of the NBA draft people, 50%, overseas people are going to be there. But like, of the people who are going to be drafted at any given year, 50% of them at least are at that Peach Jam.
No, I think it was higher. I think 83% of the last draft played in
Peach Jam. So I'm not even giving 30%. So when you think about it, you're in there. You're like, I don't even know who the person is. None of us do right now. There's somebody here who's got a growth spurt coming. There's somebody who's going to work on his jumper. Something's going to happen. But when you're in here with these people, again, not being starstruck, but just saying, like, of all places in Augusta, Georgia, we're doing it. But what's beautiful is, like you said, Keem probably had a grandchild or a child that was in plan. And when they're in there, their parents, just like you. We played against. I missed this tournament. But we played against Patrick Ewing's daughter, in volleyball, right? He's on the same sideline trying to catch a chair just like everybody else. He yelling in and out, and it just lets you know how these people are human just like us. I mean, I've seen LeBron James. I got pictures. I still can't find the picture, but there's a picture of my son doing a post move and Bronny James, kicking his head around the corner trying to see the move. LeBron is in the background with the second son was really little, shooting baskets. Calipari's there.
Bryce.
With Bryce. So when you get out there and you're at these tournaments, NBA monster, Hall of Fame, superstar athletes have kids too, and they are out there to watch their kids play just like you are, and it just kind of is a cool experience when you kind of go through it. So, other than that, my son stopped playing basketball in high school, so we never were able to make it to Peach Jam, but I have other friends whose kids have played with it.
Well, Nike's expanded it now. It's not just high school. They have a junior EYBL that was this year 7th and 8th, and I think next year going to include 6th grade. So shout out to Nike in this episode of Order of Executives. When you think of the shoe deal companies, when you think of the amount of money that's being spent on trying to find brand ambassadors and having alignment with a particular athlete and whatever your brand represents, Nike is head and shoulders above everybody else right now. So I say that with, hope that somebody else, ProCAD, somebody get in there and change up the game, man, because Nike got it on lock.
I know. Big Shaq trying to get Reebok back. I don't know if they signed anybody.
Shaq and Iverson. Shaq and Iverson are together.
Yeah, I stopped watching that little show after episode 2 or 3. It got redundant, but I don't know if they ever got anybody. I saw a whole lot of no's.
A whole lot of no's. And the reason people say no is because Big Bad Nike is down the street. The other thing that happened while we were gone, I'm gonna let you opine on this because I just want to know what you think. My man, Shannon, also sharp, was not very sharp in his behaviors that led to a catastrophic downfall reputation. All of us questioning his decision making. And taking, for ESPN's purposes, for that employment, taking a leave of absence. I think it was paid, but it was a leave of absence, so he was off the air while he sorted through his legal issues, I'll call it. That same Shannon Sharp is now settled for reportedly $23 million, where he only made $22 million his entire NBA career.
NFL.
I'm saying we were talking basketball, sorry.
And that's
although he probably could have played in the NBA. That big athletic joker is one of those as an athlete. $23 million, where your total salary, your total income over your career was $22 million. No other way to do this but to talk about it. $23 million paid to now a retired OnlyFans model.
The worst part is she only had to retire. She
made it public that she's retiring now, which is a very funny jab at the whole settlement. I'm assuming that there's some NDA there that she can't disclose the terms of this settlement, which is pretty typical in a case like that when you're dealing with a high-profile defendant. But $23 million reportedly paid to an OnlyFans model, self-proclaimed, who is now retired. Too much information. What do you think about this?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, I'm seeing a little bit of mixed stuff. So uh they're saying $10 million that it's likely, but they're saying that his net worth is 30. I mean,
That's a third of your net worth.
third of your net worth, and no children involved, no companionship, nothing like that.
No.
He didn't punch her in the face or nothing. I mean, it's bad, but I think it's a missed opportunity right now because a lot of people, not me, but a lot of people, if she kept the OnlyFans up for at least another 6 months, the subscriptions would be crazy. People want to see that what is worth $10 million of a third of your shit,
She's
and
missing an opportunity here.
you missed an opportunity.
I need to be her number. I messed up the number. To just back up for a second. Peach Jam reportedly improved the local Augusta, Georgia economy, and there's an Augusta, South Carolina right there on the border, by a reported $20 million. $20 million. I don't know how they figure out Augusta, but $20 million richer because Nike decided to hold court there in Augusta, Georgia. All right, I digress. Back to you, OnlyFans. She's retired.
Still, look, listen. She's Peach. She is worth Peach Jam. Is right now. She's worth Peach Jam almost.
She worth the whole Peach Jam. Twin economy.
She could have made so much more money. She stayed on OnlyFans, but no, I feel bad for him. I think what happens.
Do you? Why you feel bad for him?
You know, here's the thing. At this point, and I've noticed this is a theme: is when you make a lot of money when you're young, right, in your 20s. I think it's a psychological thing. It's probably a page in a book somewhere, but it locks in certain things. Like you played in the NFL for a few years. I went right to working. I never got an opportunity to think that, like, you know, money backs up your beliefs and what you think. So I never got a chance to be crazy. So that's why I had no tattoos on my neck. I never got any crazy jewelry. I never got to do anything. But I think it skews you. And a lot of it is where the freak comes out, right? A lot of these rich people were saying
say that one more time.
The freak comes out in you. Epstein's, the Weinsteins, the Diddy's, the what's the man hiding in Bali right now? Russell Simmons. There's a lot of these people you find out is freaky, but you don't really find about your coworker being as freaky as these people. You know, it doesn't come out as much. And I just think you end up being a freak is under attack now. You can't be a freak no more. So you can't talk about choking somebody and do any craziness like that because that might be what you're into, what she's into. And to cost that much money, you got to pay that kind of bread because somebody can essentially let you choke them or something like that. You just can't be a freak anymore. So the thing is, listen, I don't care how much money you get, you youngins. I'm talking to you. You youngins, when you get this money, man, it's traditional. Get yourself a girlfriend. Stick to missionary. You know what I'm saying? Hey, please and thank you. Dinner, movies.
Thank you
very much. Maybe go to church with her or something. Tell you, don't ask don't. If you into that freaky stuff, resist. Because
retire now before you get
may
paid.
Cost you a third of your shit and your reputation,
cost you
and hinder your future earning potential.
Or it could cost you.
Did we almost forget?
Order of executives. In this particular company, the order of executives has changed because of a Coldplay concert, a Kiss Cam. What do you think about this? For you who have been under a rock, there is a story out there where there's an astronomer that
never heard of the company.
But there are two people in this case, two executives, and the order of executives has changed in this particular company. But the Coldplay concert is to be thanked. The astronomer CEO, Andy Byron, is the gentleman in this picture. He resigned after he was seen with his arms around the HR executive at astronomer, Kristen Cabot. They were at Coldplay. They were listening. The music got good to them. And both Andy Byron and Kristen Cabot forgot that while they were together having a moment on a kiss cam, that they were both married to other people. And so while the CEO retired first, now the HR executive, Kristen Cabot, has also resigned. And
I'm
so
about to
the
say,
order
they
of
let these
executives
people say
continues.
retired. I said, we can do a whole show about you saying if they actually called it retired. So here's the thing. First of all, you should have kissed her. You would have just been over it. Nobody would have noticed it. Somebody would have said later, do you think that was? Nobody would have known. It would have
Nobody
never
knows.
came
Yeah,
out. There'd be no history.
hiding it will not save you, as we saw here.
So I, too, had a Coldplay concert that I went to at my work. I brought my wife. You shouldn't let this be a lesson to you. Don't bring your side piece to
Don't bring
Coldplay.
sand to the beach.
It's too many.
Beach to the
But
beach.
there's yet another bombshell person. There's a recently promoted employee who was, we'll call her accomplice A, who is not pictured in this, but is pictured in other photos that was there. So now you got somebody in your business. And y'all tricking off. So you got to be more careful.
Interesting times, man.
If you're gonna love up, kiss up, you'd have been fine. Everybody, the good thing he died for our sins, because everybody else now
He's
who
a
ends
martyr.
up, he's a martyr. Anyone who ends up at a Coldplay concert going forward, first of all, keep your hands to yourself.
Kiss cam has always been strange to me. Like, the kiss cam has been strange to me. Maybe we retired the whole pageantry of a kiss cam, because not everybody I don't want to see nobody kissing.
You know what's going to come out of this. You're right. The kiss cam got about 6 months left, because you know what's going to come out of this. A lawsuit.
Like, I'm minding my business.
My own business. Enjoy some Coldplay. And you done put me now, so now I've lost my future earning potential because of your little kiss cam.
It's gonna be tough for him to find a job. Although,
because when you buy a ticket, do you sign an image release when you sign a ticket?
I don't know. Buy a ticket? It's a great question.
Somebody gonna get sued.
Hey,
I know a lawyer.
Hey, man, and I play one on TV sometimes. Call me. I do think that it's interesting to watch, because we've got this constant ongoing Mars versus Venus battle. And I've watched some of the shows that people that I respect, ladies that do a phenomenal job in the podcast space. And it is just so interesting to see the different takes on this. Like, I saw these two podcasters, two women, like, going to town on old boy, just talking about how I can't believe he did that. Andy Byron. I'm like, do you realize there was two people in that picture and both were married?
I do feel terrible for their spouses, though. It's one thing to find out
that way. I do feel terrible for their spouses.
For their spouses. I mean, it's one thing if my wife decides that she wanted to step out, it's one thing, but it's one thing for the entire universe to know she did you like that. Yeah. Everybody.
Fair. And kids, right? So the kids are impacted by that. All right. So we are 20 minutes in. We've got our interesting Ball Hawk Spotlight moments, just some extra auxiliary stuff that we like to talk about, supplemental stuff that we like to talk about. But let's get into the meat and potatoes of why we decided to call this particular show Order of Executives. President 45 and 47, Donald J. Trump, this week made headlines because he signed an executive order that was sort of looked at as the white knight to save NCAA college sports. We'll get into the details of the order, but just high level, you hear about Donald J. Trump signing this executive order. Now, some of the sting is taken off of him signing an executive order, because it seems like every week, every day, damn near, he's signing an executive order. But this one is right in our wheelhouse. Donald J. Trump comes in, signs the executive order, and by his account has done wonders for college sports. You hear that and you think, what?
I mean, my initial
non-political. This is not a political. That wasn't a political question. It's just more sports-wise and understanding the landscape of sport. You have a son and daughter now playing college sports. You hear this executive order and you think, what?
Well, so don't take the low-hanging fruit and start swinging on Trump, is what you're saying. Just let's just go on the merit.
Yeah.
He's 45 and 47. To me, he's 2 games under 500. So we should get a coaching change. But that I digress. So I think I I can't not pull. I don't think the executive order is in order for what is being done there. I think to force really all he did is just draw attention and say I don't like what's going on because the rules already apply. They're just poorly enforced, right? It's already supposed to not be pay to play. I've had this argument right now with another one of our teammates, and I've had the question I have is how do you determine fair market value, right? Because what they're going to say is these are everyone who's giving the money typically is going to have a company, right?
Right.
And you can be the spokesperson for a company. What's the going rate for that? How are you going to determine it? If you try to compare it to NFL people, you can't because it's different
Right.
because it's a college player
It
now.
normally takes
So
like normal trade practice to create some range of fair market value. But we're so new to this that I don't know how that range is created at the
so
outset.
I'm
There's
going
no
to give
range.
a little analogy. I have a friend who has a house in Naperville, and someone wanted his specific lot, and he didn't want to sell the property, so he threw out a number that was over $1 million more than his house is worth. The guy bought the house cash. 2 weeks later, it's done. So now all of a sudden, all the comps in the neighborhood jumped up by a certain amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
Now his house was not worth the money he spent on it, and neither are the houses that had benefited from what
It
he's
wasn't
done.
worth the money that the buyer spent on it.
Yeah, I
Got
said that poorly. So he got an extra million and a half over what the house was worth,
Right.
right? So he jumped at it, took it. Here's take it if it's worth it. That same instant, the day it closed, all the property in the area that he lived in increased their list
Because
price
now they're looking at that as a comp.
as a comp,
Right.
right? But at the end of the day,
Comp
those
being
people
a
are
comparable.
comparable. People, what it's worth what you. This is a capitalist society. Whatever. If I sell you this cell phone case and you want to give me $10,000 for it, who is the government to come in and tell you that this is not fair market value? If you want to pay it, then that's what it's worth. So for you to say that it's not worth, to say that there's a market and you're going to cap someone's earning, I think that's like antitrust. How can you tell me that if a school wants to pay me, if it's worth it to this school to find a company, because the guys are doing these, they have appearance fees or mandatory appearances and different things of that nature that they have to do for the company. How can you tell me what that's worth?
Right.
How can you say it? What's the precedent? Caitlin Clark is a great example. What she was worth to college basketball, let alone University of Iowa basketball, is priceless. She would have been worth $1 million a year easily. And well, what are you going to say? Well, there's been nobody there. There's no market for that, so why should she get it? Well, Iowa basketball has never been on the map, and now it's on the map. They probably sold all kinds of jerseys and all kinds of stuff, and they're speculating if they get the next person. But the next Caitlin Clark should be able to get some sort of a deal. The young lady that went to Texas Tech, and she was a pitcher. She got $1 million. Unprecedented, right? They went to the finals. When has Texas Tech ever been in the finals? What is that worth to the company? You've just redone their program. You put their program on the map from a nobody, I believe. I'm not that well versed in softball for college, but I believe a nobody program to the runner up. What is that worth?
Yeah,
So
they
I
were good,
don't.
but they weren't that good.
Before you mean?
Yeah. Before.
Yeah, but I mean now that they got blown out by Texas, but they were the number 2 team and they lost the World Series. So it's like, okay,
but
how can you tell me that's not worth $1 million to the school? It's yet to be seen.
Well, here's where, and I agree with you, but I think defining what fair market value is an exercise that will go on till the end of time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because, like you said, it's like sort of legal theory, right? It's like the reasonable person theory. It's like, what does that really mean? What is reasonable? What is a baseline for someone being reasonable? And same thing here. Like, what's the baseline for the value being fair market? We don't know, right? So what you normally do is create a range. What Trump did here, because you're right in the sense that like all he did was say that the enforcement of the fair market value stipulation has to be taken a lot more seriously. What he did, though, is he ordered states that the Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon, could use future federal funding, right? She could use that as a carrot to dangle to make sure that they abide by the administration's policy when it comes to fair market value. And
I'm tired of that type of threat bully techniques, but okay.
yeah, but that I think that's where now there is some there. While he has come in and tried to make sure that Donald Trump is at the center of this conversation, conveniently and opportunistically, the tie to federal funding or potential tie and link to federal funding means that there's some there because all schools need that federal funding to do just about everything.
I am against it, so let me not lie. I'm against what he's doing with the there part of it. But like what I keep going back to is like, how can you've heard the term loss leader, obviously, right?
Yep.
I remember when the Windows people used to get excited when the new Windows would come out. That's how old we are. When the new Windows would come out, people would be excited. Best Buy would sell it for a loss because they knew everybody was going to come in here and buy stuff. Okay, so I'm going to go back to Notre Dame as a great example. They paid the quarterback a couple $1 million last year. They did whatever. Notre Dame, let's say they spent out all the, which they're cheap. Notre Dame is not going to spend all their bread, but let's say they spent all their bread. And from a market standpoint, you look and say, I don't see it. But this year they got the number 3 recruiting class. When's the last time we had that? Number 3 recruiting class. We are getting every NFL kid, every NFL player's son wants to go there. What happens when Notre Dame goes to a national championship? When the what do you call those people that beg for the money? Development calls up and says, "Would you like to give one? Right. Would you like to donate some money?" Yes. I need a new science building. I need a new music hall. I need new, whatever the hell center. Yes, would. You guys were number 2 in the nation. You went to national championship.
It made me feel good. So now I'm going to write checks.
And now I'm going to write a check. And then, okay, well, that's just, that's just charity. No. Well, when Notre Dame does well, the conversations, I'm in sales right now. So if you ask me, I'm not giving you nothing, Notre Dame, so don't call me. But if in my sales role, if I go out there, I can potentially, when Notre Dame does well, I have more conversation. If I had season tickets, now those become more valuable. So you can't quantify the value of what an individual player is to the university. You can't quantify it because there's so much peripheral money there that it's not as much pay to play. It's truly paying for their image and their likeness, and play, and their play is what makes that more valuable. But this, Jeremiah Love that we have that's at Notre Dame right now, who could be potentially be a Heisman Trophy winner, Doak Walker winner, such a great name that's going to draw it, that you can't put a price tag on what he means today, tomorrow, the next day to everyone involved in the university. So I don't know how you can ever determine a fair market value.
I think that what we're doing is having a very honest conversation on the merits. And so, which is great. But I think at the end of it, this episode is called Order of Executives, because the truth be told is that when you are dealing with a lot of times a socioeconomic community that hasn't had access to this type of capital, this type of money, the windfall of money, that's why all the regulations are coming about, right? Because they're going to be a whole new crop of potential executives. They're going to take the money that they make from fill in the blank, whether it be Notre Dame, Ohio State, fill in the blank. With there are several of these programs that revenue-wise made over $125 million in one fiscal year. They're making big-time money. And when that level of capital gets divided and there's an entirely new category of people by way of being recipients of that money, that they too can be executives, because the whole framework of, go to school, get a job and work for someone, ascend the corporate ranks, and eventually get the title, and then retire with some, whether it be a defined benefit, a defined contribution plan of some sort, 401k, or, you actually put money into the company that managed it, right? Like they don't do that anymore, but they used to, right? Either way, you've created a whole entire new category of potential executives, because those young people ain't going down the road of traditional go to school, get a job, and ascend the ranks. They're taking their money and they're creating their own companies. And when I see this, I see it for more than just the conversational piece that we are having, and that's going to be debated ad nauseum at barbershops across the world. I see it as sort of this protection of class, protection of wealth, that this new category, potential new category, because of the windfall of new executives. And that's really what's being protected, is that we're not letting little Nook them. And I exaggerate just for effect, but we're not letting little Nook them get this money unlimited and unfettered to now become, in a few years, a competitor, because they too are executives. That's how I see it. And I might be cynical, but
I
can't help
agree.
but see it
I
that way.
agree. I mean, this, no one would be worried about it if it wasn't who it was. I mean, let's just face it. You know, I look at some of these. I watched the hockey draft, right? I'm bored, man. Empty nester. So I'm watching the hockey draft and I'm looking at these young ass kids coming up here getting drafted, right? And 18-year-olds, I think one of them was like 17, 16. All of these dudes are young high school dudes who are going pro. Some of them will go to college. A lot of them will go pro. A lot of them, you know, were in juniors. So they made, I mean, who knows what their high school status is. I have never once ever in the history of ever heard anyone talk about the lack of college degrees and education in professional hockey players. Never. I've never heard it be a topic. These guys are coming out. They're going right to their soccer. You know, a good friend of mine's son plays academy soccer. These kids are all most of these kids are thinking about going straight to play professional soccer, and they're not even considering going to college. Matter of fact, if you're going to college, you're kind of the outcast. I never hear anyone talk about that.
Right.
But those sports are not dominated by kids that look like me and you. And so all of a sudden now you got all this money going into NFL guys college football guys and college basketball guys, and they're flaunting it and they're driving around, whatever. And it bothers a lot of people in society. And most of those people vote for Trump, and they're very frustrated and upset. And I won't just put that on Trumpers, but I will say there's a lot of people in society who have a hard time seeing kids do that and flaunt it, do whatever. But I never see these people come up and talk about hockey players or baseball players. I never see that. It's never that situation. So I get frustrated with it, but who cares? What are they going to do with it? As long as their check's still clear, you know, you can stay mad all you want if you're a hater. But that's how I think about this whole Trump thing is
the one issue that's always going to be provocative is whether or not these athletes are employees. Because once defined as an employee, then they can unionize. So the NLRB is dismissed 2 recent cases. The kid from Northwestern was big. This was several years ago. I think he was a quarterback that eventually went to play in the NFL as a wide receiver. I don't remember his name, but he was big about collective bargaining.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name, but collective bargaining. So that's always going to be the debate, because once you give these athletes, and depending on what side of the debate you might be on, athletes also known as employees, if you're on that side of the debate, when you give them the power to bargain collectively and unionize, the whole world is going to change. And I don't know we're going to get there anytime soon. I think that there's enough money out there and enough willing participants when it comes to third-party payers through name, image, and likeness, or even pay for play in air quotes, that will continue to subsidize what is the fair market value. And it'll continue along these lines for now. But if and when that ever happens, that's going to be the game changer. But just because I like to play the role, and I know exactly the motivation, seems to be the motivation characteristic-wise, what President Trump would want, we'll just thank him for saving college football and move on. Or college sports. Those
do not reflect the opinions of everyone on the show.
Man, thank that man for saving college sports. Come on, man. I did want to take a pause for the cause and ask those who are in the live audience, we ask you humbly, like we ask you every week, please like, comment, share, tag a friend, tag a foe, tag anyone you know, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel and our podcast. This is the Ball Hawk Sports Talk, where sports, business, and entertainment collide. More specifically, it's where businessmen get together to discuss sports in an entertaining fashion. Please help us help other people by liking, commenting, sharing, tagging a friend, tagging a foe, tagging anyone that you know, and subscribing to our YouTube channel and our podcast. In addition, I want to take this moment, this pause for the cause, to actually take a moment of silence. The Cosby Show has been discussed over the last several years related to Bill Cosby and his woes in the justice system. And we've heard the Cosby Show associated with Bill Cosby in some of the darkest lights, if you will. But Theo, the character's name was Theo. The actor's name was Malcolm Jamal Warner. Was a big brother to all of America. I was going to say Black America specifically, but I think that's what made the Cosby Show so amazing, that it wasn't just specific to the Black community. Theo was a big brother to all of us. Malcolm Jamal Warner was a humanitarian, a good person, according to all accounts, and someone who, with his family in Costa Rica, reported that he got caught in a current and drowned. An awful way to go, but even more awful because your kids had to watch it and your family lost their dad. And so for all of those reasons and several other reasons, here on the Ball Hog Sports Talk, let's take a very brief but meaningful moment of silence for Malcolm Jamal Warner, also known on the Cosby Show as Theo.
R.I.P. Kane Coulter was the football player at Northwestern in 2004. He was there from 2011 to 2014.
He had a wrestling name.
Kane Coulter.
Kane Coulter. We took the moment of silence for Malcolm Jamal Warner, but this week has been tumultuous. Let's try to say that fast 3 times. Very difficult in Hollywood or in entertainment because there have been other celebrities that passed away this week. We've got Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness, who passed away this week. Rocker, who had a lot of health issues. I think it was a complication of Parkinson's. His wife,
biting the heads off puppies.
That could lead to health issues. But his wife was embroiled in a little bit of controversial because somewhat of a, not racist, but controversial comments about Meghan Markle, and eventually stepped down from The View or whichever one she was on. The other person that died this week, and how dare we not at least talk about him, because this is sports, business, and entertainment. Hulkamania, the Hulkster, the reason that you ate that raw egg.
I never had a raw egg.
You did it. Everybody did it. Every athlete tried that.
No, sir.
Hulk Hogan died this week, and you would think that it would be a celebration of his life and his impact on entertainment in general. WWF, WWE, WCW, WrestleMania. He was in the first one. You think that it would be a celebration of that. You think that a podcast like this would notably take a moment of silence and celebrate his impact on the entertainment space, if you're one of the people that says that wrestling ain't real sport. But instead, all we have seen since his passing at 71 years old has been a really big debate about whether or not we should celebrate his life at all. Hulk Hogan was not only notorious for his impact in the ring and on the entertainment space, which included WWE, but he's also notorious for making some very openly racist remarks when it came to his daughter's dating choices, and a very profound use of the N-word, and it was a hard ER at the end.
Multiple times to make sure
you reconcile it.
You know, I mean, you said something earlier about entertainment and separating them as a life. So we will not be doing a moment of silence, or at least if you do, I'm going to talk. So
you go talk during my moment of silence.
I'm gonna talk during your moment of silence. So I mean, I'm not a Hulk Hogan fan because I'm not gonna separate, the man, whatever. when I was a youngster in wrestling, I will say that, you know, I enjoyed it watching him wrestle, and I enjoyed, you know, the theatrics that he brought to the I don't know if I want to call it a sport or the theatrics of wrestling, whatever you want to call it, characterize it. I'm not here to debate that. And he was a big name in that. But you know, when you see somebody who's been around a lot of black people his whole life, or at least his whole professional career, who've helped him be a part of the spectacle, which is the WWF, WWE, and all the different things he was a part of. Don't shoot me if I got some of those wrong, because I'm not that diehard of a wrestling fan. But you know, to hear him speak the way that he did and be so openly brazen about it, you know, he goes into my fuck him bucket. So fuck him. You know what I mean? Like, he died, and a lot of people died this in the world. So he's no different. So he hadn't wrestled in a while, so he had lost any use that I had for him as a human being. So you know what? If his family's sad, that's too bad for this. I feel bad for the family. They're sad. They're gonna miss and do whatever. But fuck him.
His daughter was estranged. Had a really tough relationship. Brooke Hogan, who had made some music and then married an NHL player.
She
But
tough
the
too.
comment, the infamous comment that I'm talking about, was about that daughter and her dating choices. And look, I'm the exact opposite extreme. Like, I was one of the kids that if you said wrestling was fake, I was in tears, ready to fight you. I was one of the kids that was caught in Hulkamania, right? I've talked about on the show when, they get the 2 count and the third one, the fist pumps. That's classic uh, Hulk Hogan and the way that they scripted that. That was Hulk Hogan. On the third one, you get strength. I was very extreme in my support and fandom of Hulk Hogan, the wrestler. Notice that when we talked about Malcolm Jamal Warner, I talked about Theo being our big brother, and I separated the actor Malcolm Jamal Warner from the character Theo. It's almost impossible to do that with Hulk Hogan. None of us know him as Terry Bollea. And I've seen some of my people who I love to death, but black folk, we real forgiving, boy. But I've seen people try to separate Terry Bollea from Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan will never be known as Terry Bollea in the public space. Hulk Hogan's character was so big. Hulk Hogan's impact on wrestling and entertainment was so profound. Hulk Hogan owned being Hulk Hogan to the point where I don't know if Terry Bollea even existed by the end.
I
And
didn't know
so,
his name until just this minute.
none of us did. You probably thought he was born Hulk Hogan. And I think that his racism and his vile comments are something that allowed me to move on from. I really liked Hulk Hogan, right? But when I was a child, I thought, and I spake as a child. As a grown man, I could appreciate someone using the N-word with a hard ER with something as meaningless as who his daughter chooses to date, to strongly support the fact that he don't like me, so I can move on.
It's not
Hulk
meaningless
Hogan,
for your daughter dates. I'm not gonna go there, but
well, it was sexual, whatever. Dates, marries. It was a lot of stuff in there that shouldn't be repeated. Google it. It's easy to find. But Hulk Hogan to me is someone that, and then he took some flack about his speech at the RNC supporting Donald Trump in his second campaign. I had my own back and forth with Lou Holtz when it pertains to the RNC in his first campaign. And so I have no problem saying this when it comes to Hulk Hogan. I think he was great for the sport of wrestling and the entertainment and building it. Vince McMahon should thank him profusely, and I think he has since he passed. But as a human being, it's just not the type of person I would like to support. So I know his family is sad, but here we're not going to celebrate Hulk Hogan because Hulk Hogan would have never celebrated us. Church. And it's also interesting in this episode, Order of Executives, that Hulk Hogan, despite coming into wrestling at a time when it was WWF, despite being the focal point and growing into WWE, despite being the marquee for when it comes to viewership, the highest rated WrestleManias have Hulk Hogan in them somewhere. Despite all of that, he was never an executive of WWE. When it comes to the order of executives, you got Vince McMahon, you got Triple H that married the younger daughter, you got all of these greats. I think Bret Hart at one point, you got all these greats in terms of wrestling that were executives, and someone that could be directly connected to the overall value, the valuation of wrestling, WWE as it stands now. Hulk Hogan is in the center of that valuation. When you're doing all the math, you got to have a factor that is Hulk Hogan, yet he was never an executive. It says something about his overall impact on wrestling and why Vince McMahon never took him into the executive role. But I digress. Did want to at least mention it so we are aware. We talked about college. We talked about our guy, Donald Trump, saving college. And, you know, all of these players that are getting handsome ransom. The cousin to that is the NFL. And this episode of Ball Hawk Sports Talk called Orders of Executives, I want to deal with that ranking when it comes to the NFL. Because what we saw this week in both Jerry Jones making an analogy about why he's not paying Micah Parsons and having to play without Micah Parsons and without Dak Prescott after paying them and having no certainty that they're going to pay. Jerry Jones, and has done it several times, who, and I purposely mentioned him right after Hulk Hogan because I assume they probably attended the same social events and think from a socioeconomic standpoint very similarly about black folk. Jerry Jones laid down the gauntlet and basically said, I don't care what I pay them. They're employees. He was very clear to create what was essentially an order of executives, an org chart, if you dare, to let everybody know I'm the man here.
I'm the Don Don.
I pay them. They're on my payroll. Do you think Jerry Jones went a little bit far? I mean, these are the guys he's going to be relying on. All NFL teams now have started their training camp. These are the guys, the marquee guys on offense, his quarterback, on defense, his all-world player. Technically, I guess he's a rush in, but he can drop, he can do anything and everything that you want. He's a nightmare to offensive coordinators. And Micah Parsons, these two guys, in his org chart, the top two players, he basically took them out front, slapped. With that comment, I just thought that was risque. Is it just Jerry being Jerry? Or did he want them to know who's the real executive here and y'all just work for me? What was that?
Jerry was the most vocal about during the Kaepernick era about taking a knee, saying he would cut whoever did it. That's how Jerry runs his business. And if you want to be down there and, you know, listen, when people talk to you crazy, two things you say, you're not my boss, you're not my daddy, right? If somebody talk to you crazy. So he may not be the daddy, but he's the boss. And if he want to talk to you kind of crazy for millions of dollars, who cares? I don't know. He can say whatever he wants to say. These guys are going to do what they want to do. They're going to say what they want to say, and the checks are going to clear on Tuesday.
Another example of it is in Cincinnati. You got their first-round draft pick, Shamar Stewart. They're in a contract dispute right now because Shamar Stewart and his agent do not want a clause that basically voids or steeply discounts his income if there's any conduct detrimental to the club. They've gone back and forth on it. 17th overall pick. Living your dream. He does have some stuff in his past. Who's right here? The Shamar Stewart and his camp, his agent, are they right saying that they shouldn't have basically a qualifier that could undermine his income? Or is the Cincinnati Bengals owner and their executives, are they right trying to make sure that this particular clause specific to Shamar Stewart is in that contract? Who's right here?
Well, that's the thing. So this clause that's contract detrimental that makes his contract no longer a guaranteed contract. Is that rare, or is that something that is?
It's becoming a little more common.
I guess the thing situation you look at a couple ways. They obviously saw something that made them take a chance on him at 17. Give them the pause that they wanted to make sure they could protect themselves. He obviously doesn't have. Imagine right now if I told you, like, Bobby, I'm going to pay you $3 million at your job right now. But if you do something stupid and you whatever, I can fire you. Don't you bet on you that you feel like you could go 3 years without doing something stupid?
I would just need a real definition of what something stupid means. But yes, I would probably
But like for me, that's one of them things.
because I
I
might
was
have
like,
to
man,
hire somebody to prevent me from doing it. I just need more details of what it's
I
something
just
foolish.
can't imagine foregoing the contract because. But the problem is this: is these coaches and owners ain't shit. So like they're gonna go through, and they can say anything is detrimental. He can complain about
It's a
the
catch-all. Conduct detrimental is a catch-all
it's a
clause.
catch-all. So what you're saying is, if I'm in a post-game interview and we just lost because we blitzed at the last play, and I said, I don't know if I would have blitzed on that last play. I think we were doing a great job dropping in coverage, and that's conduct detrimental. And now it's at least an argument.
Right. I'm late to a meeting. I don't wear the right attire. Whatever. Right. It's a catch-all. It is a catch-all clause.
Your mom is in the family room and she says something crazy. You know what I mean? Like, you're right. It's too big of a catch-all. I feel like they're both wrong. I think you can get to the spirit of the agreement. And in my business, I'm in sales, and I often get both attorneys on the phone because we go back and forth on email versions. And I feel like we don't disagree. We just don't disagree on how to write it down. Right. In this situation, I think there's a little bit more of a disagreement. But do you think if he gets back into college, I mean, it's so different now with NIL, he can go back to school.
Here's where this show, first of all, you're not in the sales business, man. You're in the podcast business. That's your side business.
I'm my side hustle.
Hear all that.
My side hustle. I sell stuff.
But in this case, the same thing is true. Like, what is your main business, my man? Is your main business football or the stuff that you think could qualify as conduct detrimental? But the truth is, in this episode, Order of Executives, the order has changed. You alluded to guys going back to college. The thing that this young man, right, Shamar Stewart has something that most guys in the past didn't have. He has the option to go back to school and still make millions. So while it has been historically true that someone negotiating a contract, especially a rookie contract, is employee negotiating with executive, right? Mike Brown, the owner of the Bengals, came out and said, we need to get this done, right? Back in the day, that was fine because Mike Brown and the powers that be with the Cincinnati Bengals were negotiating with someone across the table.
They had no choice.
That this was going to be their first big check, that they had all the leverage against. But the big bad NIL, name, image, and likeness, and the additional revenue that is now paid for play from the schools themselves has made it such that these are two executives that are negotiating terms. And the one executive, Shamar Stewart, has an out. He can go back to college and make money. I think we're going to see more of this.
That's guaranteed.
The college players now negotiating a rookie contract have a lot more leverage than they did back in the day when, bro, you had to take what they gave you. And we're seeing the increase. You asked about the guarantees. We're seeing increased guarantees because of that fact. There's a new
college is all
guaranteed that include the players now.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, and the college money is going to be guaranteed anyway. Sometimes you're getting that money like they're accelerating it. It's getting a little different with some of this revenue share. But, yeah, I mean, there's options. It's interesting. If you were a betting man, would you say that he ends up with the Bengals or back in college?
I would say ends up with the Bengals, but I think this next week is vital because now they're in training camp. Right now, it's not theoretical. Like, you're a rookie, you need to get up to speed, and we got to know that we can count on you. And a lot of the guarantees that are being negotiated in that contract, this is when the guarantees are affirmed. That the organization, the franchise, knows that they did the right thing. And if you don't have that time frame, I don't know. But look, there are a lot of college programs sitting around waiting
begging.
I know I could give him 1.5,
And
2
some
million.
poor child is going to lose their scholarship.
Right. Like, dog, come off that bread. We got something for you. So we shall see. It's interesting, man, but this is a new frontier because the category of executives used to be such that it didn't include the players. And now the way these players are making money earlier and setting up business systems around them, I encourage all players to do that. They too are executives. So we shall see. I did want to get, before we get out of here, man, we got to get on this WNBA All-Star Game ratings. The ratings were, let me actually pull them up. I had it here. The ratings were, what ESPN did is they posted a graphical that showed most watched games, and it said that the 2.2 million average viewers for this past weekends on it was Saturday, the 19th. It said 2.2 million average viewers was a 158% increase. Now you had to look at the fine print, and people took issue with this visual because in the fine print it's 158% versus 2023 WNBA All-Star Game. Why is that important? Caitlin Clark was not in the WNBA in 2023. Why are people taking issue? They feel like ESPN was trying to be misleading because they didn't want to compare it to the 2024 viewership when Caitlin Clark was not only a part of it, but playing. All right. The other thing is the ESPN most watched WNBA skills. It did go up. It's 1.3 million average viewers, and you were one of them, which is an 89% increase from last year's skill and three-point contest. Depending on who you ask, tomatoes, how positive those numbers are. But I think either way, you can't deny the WNBA is on the move. I think the question is, or the debate, is Caitlin Clark's impact on that move. Shout out to WNBA, baby. The W. The W. Shout out to him, man. The business is booming.
I think it was a good comparison. I think we talked about this pregame, and I thought it makes more sense. First of all, the narrative is that the WNBA is growing in popularity.
Yep.
I think the fact that Caitlin didn't play and they still had more viewers than they did in 2023 lets you know that it's not just Caitlin. There's a residual effect over the whole sports because now where Caitlin has drawn a lot of people to watch, they've enjoyed it enough that there's a very big increase from 23 to now. I think if the headline would have been like, we're down without Caitlin, it's just bringing more negative Caitlin narrative that has been starting to kind of float around. She's not having a great year. I saw somebody on a podcast talking about how easy it is to stop Caitlin, how she's a flopper and she doesn't have a handle. There's a lot of people hating out there, and it doesn't do anything for the sport. So I think that it's a good thing that they compared it to 23 because it's actually more relevant. Because, yeah, Caitlin didn't play. So a lot of people aren't going to watch when Tiger doesn't golf or Caitlin doesn't play. I watched the skills competition. I didn't watch the game. But I never even thought about watching a skills competition, and I watched everything. I watched it from start to finish, and forced my wife to watch it with me. So, like at the end of the day, I thought that was something. I don't. Maybe she wasn't in it last year. She may not have been in it last year, so that's why it was an increase. But I think what they're showing is the Caitlin Clark, yes, is bringing a lot of eyeballs, but they're staying beyond Caitlin Clark as well. She's been hurt. People still watch. I still watch the games. So. I watch more now than I did last year.
Shout out to the W. I think they're doing a good job. And shame on that club owner. Did you see the video of the WNBA players after the All-Star game trying to go to the club, and the doorman was like, and the one player like, we in the W. We just came in the All-Star game. Let us in. It was really funny.
That's hilarious, dog.
More eyes and more awareness because the WNBA is putting a good product out there. But in terms of this episode, Order of Executives, I think that's the back and forth, the tug of war, the executive, if you will, Caitlin Clark, and the business that is Caitlin Clark and the impact that she has on the game versus the league itself, right? And can it be self-sustainable without stars like executive level Caitlin Clark? Worth mentioning, Caitlin Clark, rookie card, a one of one, went for how much?
$660,000.
$660,000. Talk about fair market value. Oof.
I don't like. I think so many things are just not pure in general, and are phony now. When I was a kid, you collected the baseball cards. A couple people took really good care of them because they cared, and then as years went by, an unintended result was people made a lot of money on their cards, and I like that. That was pure. That was cool. People used to get dolls, and maybe they collect all the Beanie Baby dolls, and
Right.
then they didn't open them up, and they said they were going to save them, and they made money, and I felt good to see those people do those things.
Mm-hmm.
To have a card that you create that's a collector's item from day one. She's too young to have a rookie card go for that much money. She's just she's in her second year. I mean, a rookie card for her is supposed to be like, uh, you know, Van Slith or somebody who didn't think was going to be a goon turns out to be the best in, or AJ. I don't know.
AJ Wilson.
Asia Wilson, yeah, like, okay, maybe we didn't know she was going to be this good. Now she's the
Right.
best. Now let's see what her rookie card goes for. But to do one of one and have her sign it, and then like make it worth the money, it's just I don't
Yeah.
like it. I'm happy for WNBA.
Somebody paid $660,000 because they was flexing. They just want everybody to know they could pay that. But
you know why I think that's silly? Who is it? Name the person.
I don't know.
I don't either. So your flex went unnoticed.
Nobody
Nobody saw your muscles.
Let's go home on this one, man, because I'm a Jersey guy now. I went down to Peach Jam. I was representing Jersey. Jersey in the building was what I was yelling at every gym. I'm a Jersey guy now. I've been here 19 years now. Florida, I love y'all. That's always, when people ask me where I'm from, I'm always from Florida. I'm always going to have an affinity and a love for Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And we don't use Fort when we say it. It's Lauderdale, baby. Shout outside Lauderdale. I love it to the death, to my death. But I'm a Jerseyan now because I've been here 19 years. There's another Jersey guy that set the record straight. Bleacher Report came out with its order of top 100, not executives, but players. And let's just say they have some shocking rankings going on. Like I'm talking about shocking. But the one that I think was, make sure I share it, the most interesting was this one. That got this response from a fellow New Jerseyan by the name of, no, I'm not going to
Tony Soprano?
Who's that?
Tony Soprano, most famous guy from New Jersey? No? Okay.
More famous than Tony Soprano. Hold on, let me share it.
More famous than him? Look at this guy.
Revise history. I'm not letting people come on and talk about Kobe like Kobe wasn't one of the best that not only played, but that came in as a 17-year-old against grown men. And by the time this man was 22 years old, he had a few championships and he was busting the best of the best ass. If y'all don't knock that shit off, I'm talking to y'all at home, the fucking media talking heads, the ones that casually throw names around like, bro, if you don't knock it off, you weren't like that. It's okay. Not everybody could be Kobe. Not everybody could wear those size, size shoes that he had. Yeah, I'm not going down into detail about this because what's said on the internet and the digital space is said. It's the internet. But when it comes to real respect and real recognizing real, this man, Kobe Bean Bryant, is immortalized not just because of his basketball. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Like this man, he is way bigger because of the character, because of what we witnessed him go through. We didn't care we didn't care about certain failures. The real Kobe fans didn't care about the failures. They didn't care about the naysayers. The real Kobe fans, the real Mamba fans that I'm talking to didn't care about who he was competing with. We know who fucked with Kobe and who didn't.
I'm gonna stop it there. What do you think? Simple and plain. With Kyrie, that was specific about Kobe, but he also talked about how GOAT discussions are meaningless.
They are.
He then went on to talk about how anybody that played has Kobe in his top 3. Bleacher Report had him at, I think, 11. Don't quote me on it. Let me see what number they had him at. They had him at 11. Bleacher Report's top 100, and I'll do it in order I'll go to 12. Michael Jordan 1, LeBron James 2, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar 3, Magic Johnson 4, Bill Russell 5, Shaquille O'Neal 6, Tim Duncan 7, Larry Bird 8, Wilt Chamberlain 9, Steph Curry 10, Kobe Bean Bryant 11, and Hakeem Olajuwon 12. Let's have at it, man.
I mean, so here's my situation with that is I think we're always going to drive ourselves crazy when you start doing GOAT of basketball. Basketball is the one sport where you try to say GOAT, and maybe soccer too, and like you lump everybody in, right? In football, when you say GOAT, nobody's thinking about Lawrence Taylor and Tom Brady at the same time. They don't even think about it. You can't compare the two,
It's
right?
hard. It's hard.
It's very hard. Well, you say
different positions.
Tom Brady is the best quarterback to ever play. Some people will say that. Then you may go offensive player, and then okay, defensive player, who's the GOAT? Can you compare Deion Sanders to Donald? I mean, it's tough. Right. But basketball is the only one where we really are like everyone's in one big old bucket, and I just don't like it. I mean, like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is probably. I still think Wilt Chamberlain is probably the best basketball player ever lived. I mean, by far, when you think about just the total dominance that he did, but it was old. Most of the people who saw him play are dead or older, and they don't have podcasts. They can't get involved. But he was the most dominant. I mean, 100-point games and whatever. Oh, well, there was this person, and these guys were, they didn't have a lot of people.
I said 9. They got him at 9.
But really, let's be honest. He's the best. I mean, he's the best ever. He's the most unstoppable basketball player ever. But I won't even call him my GOAT because he's too old. But if you just look at the things he did, nobody can compare to him in any way, shape, or form. And then, except for you can say championships or whatever, but it was like 11 teams. Who knows what the difference was? But dominant player, score points, do things that we look at as the best. No comparison between anyone and Wilt Chamberlain. But he was the center. He was 7 feet tall. But. So I hear what Kyrie's saying. If we start looking at like the traditional or what we think is the money position, which is, guard or ball dominant forward, Kobe's got to be there in the top. But, then you start looking at the Magics. It's like, what do you like? So I think that we should stop saying GOAT and just say favorite.
So I like that, and I'm willing to do it. So we can circumvent the GOAT conversation, the pure GOAT conversation that we'll have next week or the week after. Like it never stops. Let's look at executives of that number, right? Because I do believe in recency bias when the GOAT conversations happen. 1 through 13. I'm gonna go one more because I'm gonna add Kevin Durant. You got Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Michael at 1, LeBron at 2, Kareem at 3, Magic at 4, Bill Russell at 5, Shaq at 6, Tim Duncan 7, Larry Bird 8, Wilt 9, Steph Curry 10, Kobe 11, Hakeem Olajuwon 12, and Kevin Durant 13. If you think about it, there's 3 people in I would consider this era. You got LeBron James, Steph Curry, and Kevin Durant in the top 13. And Michael Jordan's era, pure era, I would say is really only one other person, and that would be Tim Duncan. You got Michael Jordan and Tim Duncan, right? Other than that, you got Kareem, 70s, 80s, Magic Johnson, 80s, Bill Russell, pre-70s. You got Shaq, 90s, 2000. You got Tim Duncan, which I put in Michael Jordan's era. Wilt Chamberlain, older. Steph Curry is this era. Kobe Bryant, kind of in between. He had his own reign. Hakeem Olajuwon, you put him in there with Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. And then you got Kevin Durant. Of all of those names, let's look at their executive prowess. Michael Jordan, to me, is probably the best executive. Fair?
The worst. No, the worst.
He's got a brand that is still making.
You're saying businessman.
Businessman, yes.
Well, I was thinking about NBA executive.
Oh, NBA. No, not NBA executive. All right. But just money outside. And then I guess I gotta go to Magic and then Shaq.
I
Or
don't know. Shaq, they're top three.
Kobe was building an empire and then
Ain't
died
fast, so you
prematurely.
can't. Yeah, top three though is Jordan. Jordan's the top brand
Who's the next
businessman.
executive?
The
Business
next
wise.
executive is either going to be Shaq or Magic.
And LeBron is catching up.
He's coming. He's still got time though, because the reason why you can't even put LeBron in there, he's still playing, except for Jordan. None of them were like super noteworthy while they played.
Steph Curry with Under Armour, that was a major deal. But
So are we talking executive or are we talking about brand
it's
endorsement?
kind of a combination, because
thing.
I think when I think of executive, I was just say businessman, right? Like the businesses that they have been able to build by way of their legacy. And Steph Curry single-handedly put Under Armour on his back. But
still brand. That's still sorry. Let you finish.
No. But I was done.
That's just brand popularity. I can't give you executive credit for that. That's brand popularity, because you're not the executive; it's your people. I'm talking about Shaquille O'Neal, Magic Johnson. Magic's got movie theaters and Starbucks. Shaq's got 150 different franchises that's doing whatever. I think the top two, and I'm gonna even put. Jordan's got a racing team. He bought an NBA team. He was a terrible executive of the NBA team, but he bought a racing team. He's doing different things. He's still brand guy. I can't give Jordan too much props when it comes to the business side. He's a brand guy. His name still garners a lot. But when I'm saying Shaq, chicken restaurants and all these different things, and how he's taking it off and still working the full time as a commentator, doing all different things there. Shaq and Magic
Over Michael?
I had to say it, because you got to take away, they don't have the full brand that he has. Yeah. Like they don't have this, just his name, and you haven't heard of their failures. I mean, you didn't even know. I'm not saying you didn't know, but most people didn't even know that Magic Johnson had movie theaters and Starbucks.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Right. He did that as a pure businessman. Everything Jordan has is Jordan brand, and I'll give him credit for having the best brand. But he doesn't. You haven't seen him do a business deal that you heard about. I mean, even 50 Cent had vitamin water. You're like, what?
Right.
Like you don't hear Jordan doing those things.
Yeah. Although the Last Dance,
he couldn't even sell his house.
Even though the Last Dance during COVID was pretty on point.
That was brand. That's still brand. That's not. He's making money off of his name, not being a businessman, in my opinion.
Look. I decided to take this angle to this Bleacher Report Top 100 debate, because in this episode, when we talk about order of executives, and we talked about in the previous conversation, when you look at a rookie, NFL rookie that is contemplating going back to college, you talk about an executive order that is now trying to create fair market value for college athletes. I hope we have these conversations more. The change is happening. There are new executives that are in the gym right now, on the field right now, in the pool, you name it, athletes that are going to take full advantage, hopefully, of the new frontier. Any last words before we get out of here, man? Been a great episode, my brother.
No doubt, my friend. No doubt. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Have a great weekend. And I ask you once again, please like, comment, share, tag a friend, tag a foe, tag anyone that you know, and subscribe to the YouTube channel and the podcast. My man Aaron Rodgers threw a pick on his first play from scrimmage with the new team. And he might have thrown a pick on the last play of the last team. But Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh, we'll see how it goes. Jackson Dart, the Giants, his first throw as in camp was a pick six. It's a great time to be an NFL fan. We shall see. And if you want to go early to Vegas and bet, Dog Pound winning the Super Bowl this year. You heard it here first.
You ain't got to go to Vegas. Just bet me.
I want to bet you.
Just bet me. Well, I only charge you juice.
Order of executives, baby. Hey. The Cleveland Browns about to change this order. But this is your show to keep. Help us out by helping other people. Like, comment, share, tag a friend, tag a foe, tag anyone you know. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and the podcast. This is the Ball Hog Sports Talk, where sports, business, and entertainment collide. A few businessmen get together to discuss sports in an entertaining fashion. We do it one way and one way only, rough, rugged, and raw. Enjoy your summer, y'all, because it's going fast. We're going to be here next Friday, arguably, because we do take a lot of summer Fridays. But the plan is to be here next Friday, so make sure you tune in. If you are a Cowboys fan, go to sleep and wake up after football season. And with that, we is out. Peace.